Welcome to the first ever episode of the ProFitX Value Vision. I'll be your host, Stephen Barnhart. In this new video series, we will look at NBA player value through a one-of-a-kind lens that only ProFitX real-time financial and performance tools provide. We will discuss things like player contracts, player comps, team fit, player skills, overall player impact, and much more. Today, I want to take a look at Jalen Brunson. Brunson will be entering his fifth season in 22-23 as the New York Knicks starting point guard. This will be a big step for Brunson to be the guy running the show under the bright lights of MSG. A lot was made of his 4-year, $104 million contract in free agency. I want to examine Brunson's skill, his overall impact, and provide some context as to why this deal has plenty of value. Let's begin by looking at Brunson's contract numbers for the duration of his 4-year deal using Spotrac as our source material. Here we see that Brunson will begin this deal at age 26, which he will turn on August 31st. From there, we see the deal gradually goes down in value and also includes a player option in year 4 before becoming an unrestricted free agent in the summer of 2026. During these past playoffs, Brunson averaged 21 points, 4 rebounds, and was just shy of 4 assists per game while shooting over 46% from the field. One of the first tabs within ProFitX's list of tools that I want to examine is the STAR system model under Team Dynamic. Here, ProFitX's AI will outline for us whether Brunson's performance was more of a reflection of the team's system of play, or if Brunson's performance was enough to stand out on its own. When looking at the chart here, keep in mind Brunson's skills outlined in yellow and the team's system is outlined in red. What we find is when we look at the playoff months of April and May specifically, is that Brunson was playing at a high enough level to establish himself as a standout performer, or as ProFitX labels it, a star on his own team. Again, this is meant to show a player's capability to play at a high level where their skill and impact stands out among overall team system, suggesting that Brunson's play had more to do with his own skill than the team's offensive system. Next, let's look at Brunson through ProFitX's career outlook model. For those wondering and questioning if Brunson can play up to his contract, the model here is showing that there will be some reasonable regression from Brunson's high play last year, especially considering it was his best basketball to date, coming off an impressive playoff run. However, the regression isn't suggesting some huge drop-off and is showing even more optimism going into his second season with the Knicks in 23-24. Overall, the encouraging part here is the projection of value and impact still being quite high, projecting his performance value and contract value to be in line of someone performing at an all-star level, as you'll see the label at the top of the columns there for his upcoming season and the 23-24 season as well. Looking further into impact, here's a list of players who averaged at least 18 points and 7 assists last season, courtesy of StatMuse. From this list, we see a total of 10 players who cracked these performance benchmarks last season. Not an easy group of guys to get your name among, but Brunson could be well on his way to having his name on this list. In games played last season where Brunson recorded at least 7 assists, he also averaged 16 points per game. Brunson has averaged 18 points per game per 36 minutes his last 2 NBA seasons and had a career year in points, rebounds, assists, and field goal attempts, playing primarily off the ball next to Luka Doncic. Furthermore, in games where Doncic did not play, Brunson averaged 7.5 assists per game. The thing to keep in mind here is just how many shot attempts Brunson will record nightly playing alongside guys like Barrett and Randall, 2 guys who like having the ball in their hands in order to score. It's reasonable to expect that Brunson's assists could reach the 7 per game level, but the points may be a bit of an issue to reach on average. Nonetheless, the numbers are encouraging that his points per game could continue to take a tick up over the next 2 seasons. One player who I'd like to look further into here that is on the list is D'Angelo Russell. Entering his 8th NBA season this upcoming year at the age of 26, Russell will be coming off a season where he averaged 18 points and 7 assists during the regular season. However, Russell only played 65 games last season due to ankle and shin injuries, as well as missing time in health and safety protocols. Russell has only played 60 regular season games or more in 4 of his 7 NBA seasons to date. He's played 65 or more games just twice in his career, which includes his rookie season and his All-Star season in Brooklyn in 2018-19. Russell signed in Minnesota to a 4-year, $117.3 million deal in 2019-20, which saw him making $27 million in his age 23 season. He was paid over $30 million last season and stands to make over $31 million next season before becoming a free agent in the summer of 2023. Let's take a look at Russell's real-time contract value through ProFitX's contract analysis model. As we mentioned earlier, his next year's team contract value is $31 million, but his real-time value is currently projected between $21 to $24 million. Keep in mind that we are in the off-season and that this very tool updates in real time during the season. If we go by real-time value, Russell's contract value is projected at $24 million, $7 million less than compared to Jalen Brunson next season at $31 million. In fact, Brunson's value is projected to be $7 million more the next 2 seasons compared to Russell based on the high-end projections shown in this model. Now let's look into Brunson's performance trajectory for the 2022 season compared to Russell's. We'll start with Brunson. Brunson is comparable or favorable to Russell in many offensive categories. Where Russell does stand out is in 3-point shooting and 3-point shot creation. Other areas such as rebounding, mid-range scoring, isolation scoring, driving to the rim, pick and roll, and pick and drive are all areas Brunson proved to be favorable in. Feel free to pause the video to look at each guy's graph to confirm. Again, out of fairness to Russell, he did play 23 fewer games between regular season and playoffs, but it's still encouraging in terms of value when talking about Brunson. I've mentioned Brunson's playoff performance for 2022 a couple times in this video. I want to do a quick side-by-side statistical comparison between Russell and Brunson since we are doing this player comparison. Now, obviously, you want to keep in mind that Brunson did play 12 more games in the process of last year, but I thought it to be noteworthy to point out the statistical difference. Now that we've taken a deeper look at Brunson's contract, let's look at ProFitX's Player DNA tab, specifically at Brunson's offensive ratings. Here we'll see ProFitX's AI model and his overall rating for the different offensive skills that he brings to the table. And now, we transition to my favorite part. In this first clip, we highlight Brunson getting the ball in transition, giving Draymond Green the in-lane spin and finish. The Knicks, much like the Mavericks last season, do not play at a high pace, therefore they'll need to make every open court chance opportunity like these count. In this clip, Spencer Dinwiddie initiates a little 2-man game between he and Brunson. Dinwiddie gives the brush screen and forces the Warrior to communicate and make a decision. Poole looks like he expects to stunt and recover to Dinwiddie, and Moody may have expected a switch. Either way, neither guy was in good position to defend either player. Simple read by Brunson leads to an easy downhill interior finish. Brunson doesn't have to be a flashy player. He makes the correct, simple play and plays within himself. Brunson gets the ball from a guarded Luka Doncic here, attacks Steph enough to make the defense commit to him. Brunson sees Finney-Smith in the right corner with his hand up and delivers an on-time and on-target cross-court pass that leads to an open 3. Here in this clip is another smart read from Brunson. He gets the ball in the right corner and immediately attracts the attention of 4 Warriors players. Somehow just about everyone has forgotten about Luka Doncic on this play. With backs turned, that's when NBA players moving without the basketball can make you pay. Luka immediately takes advantage and Brunson once again delivers the right pass with the right read. The help is too late and Luka gets a bucket in the lane. Again, nothing flashy. Right read, right play from Brunson. He averaged a 4-to-1 assist-to-turnover ratio in the regular season last year and a 3-to-1 assist-to-turnover ratio in the playoffs. Again, effective playmaking. In this final clip, we highlight Brunson here in the left corner. Here's a guy that, even if he's not shooting the 3-ball well or is struggling, he's a guy, if you run him off the line, he's excellent in the mid-range and he can find his spots on the floor. Very effective in that way. Pull up here, gets it to fall. These are very typical type of plays from Brunson. I hope you've enjoyed this deep dive into Jalen Brunson's new contract, discussions of his impact, and the player comparison with D'Angelo Russell. The reason for the comparison was to look deeper into real-time value, but to also give context to that value by making a comparison between 2 players playing the same position, same age, and same potential impact. Brunson does not have the injury history and is on a new deal. Meanwhile, Russell is going into a contract year with an injury history. I know there are a lot of you out there that want to be in those front office free agency meetings improving your favorite team, or maybe you aspire to be a player agent one day. Maybe you're tired of simply playing GM in your fantasy league and you want more. ProFitX knows that today's NBA fan craves more than ever before. If that's you, then be sure to visit us online at profitx.ai to begin your subscription. Give the team a follow at ProFitXAI on Twitter. That's ProFitXAI on Twitter. Allow yourself to graduate from the trade machines and take your player knowledge to the next level with ProFitX today. We'll see you next time on another episode of Value Vision powered by ProFitX.